Now,
recovery doesn't start tomorrow.
calling all angels.
Recovery starts right now. And here to help is Rated R for Recovery.
Calling all you angels now. Calling all angels now. Calling all you angels.
Kimmie, I hope I'm making you proud.
He had a little girl named Kimmie with a laugh that lit the room. Then fentanyl came like a storm cloud and took her away too soon. He kneeled down by her bedside with a prayer he could not shake. Then he said, I won't just break here, I will build for others' sake. So we opened up the doors where the hurting could walk in, with a couch, a meal, a blanket, and a chance to start again. Kimmie's recovery zone. Kimmie's recovery zone. For our community. For our community. Where the hungry find a table and the lost can find a home. Kimmie's recovery zone. Kimmie's recovery zone. There are folding chairs and coffee. There are boxes by the wall. There are nights he stays up answering every single call. A father with a broken heart who turned pain into a light. Now he hands out help in silence till somebody makes it right. From the ashes of his sorrow, he made shelter out of grief. And now every soul that reaches finds a place to breathe. Kimmie's recovery zone. Kimmie's recovery zone. For a community. For a community. Where the hungry find a table and the lost can find a home. Kimmie's recovery zone. Kimmie's recovery zone. For Kimmie, he keeps going. For the ones who need a way. For the moms and dads and brothers who are fighting night by day. If your hands are full of falling, if your name feels far from hope, step inside, the door is open. You are not alone. Kimmie's recovery zone. Kimmie's recovery zone. For our community. For our community. Where the hungry find a table and the lost can find a home. Kimmie's recovery zone. Kimmie's recovery zone. Kimmie's recovery zone. Kimmie's recovery zone. For our community. For our community. Where the hungry find a table and the lost can find a home. Kimmie's recovery zone. Kimmie's recovery zone.
Kimmie, I hope I'm making you proud. Hi, this is Al Kinkle We would like to invite everyone to Party in the Park 2026 on September 12th during National Recovery Month. This year's event will be held at Lake Kennedy Center in Cape Coral, Florida. For sponsorship packages and volunteer info, visit kimmiesrecoveryzone.org. Let's make this year's event the most memorable yet.
Welcome to Kimmie's Corner, where community comes together. Connection, compassion, hope, and heart. Making a difference, making a start. Kimmie's Corner, where recovery shines. Community connection, one voice at a time.
Kimmie's Corner, bringing community connection and compassion to the conversation.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to a very special edition of Rated R for Recovery, ratedrforrecovery.com. I'm one of the hosts of the show. My name's John. I'm a recovering addict. And what's happening today is we're doing one of our many remote broadcasts. This one is from Grace United Methodist Church at 2415 Grand Avenue in Fort Myers, Florida. So if you're within the sound of my voice and just happen to be going on to the YouTube channel, we invite you all to come down and check us out. You know why? You might say, why are you doing that? Well, today is the actual day is significant. It is National Fentanyl Prevention and Awareness Day. And we are doing a vigil here at Grace Church, complete with dinner starting at around 5:30, and then keynote speakers, testimonies from different people, and a whole bunch of good stuff. Now, so we have some tremendous statistics to let you know by that the number of overdose deaths have drastically decreased over the last 5 years. And that's thanks to a drug called Narcan. Narcan saves lives. And when you see the T-shirts around that says Narcan saves lives, that's because these people have been impacted by that drug in a positive way. Kimmie's Recovery Zone is the sponsor for this event. Kimmie's Recovery Zone, located at 507 Center Road in Fort Myers, Florida. They are also the home to Rated R for Recovery every Tuesday night at 6 p.m. So this drug called Narcan is carried by police. It's at rehabs, it's at detoxes, it's at jails, it's at prisons, it's all over. And thanks to Kimmie's Recovery Zone, who has distributed this product all over Lee, Charlotte, and Collier County, it has saved thousands of lives. In fact, not only does it save thousands of lives, but the National Medical Association says that is why the overdose deaths have gone from over 7,500 5 years ago down to about 5,000 deaths last year. So that is that. And we are also pumping up an annual event called Party in the Park, which is Kimmie's fundraising event that happens every year. This year it'll be Lake Kennedy Center in Cape Coral, Florida. It is September 12th, and it starts at 11 o'clock. You'll be able to see people that have all connections with recovery. You'll see rehabs there. You'll see detox representatives there. You'll see sober living houses. And we have a keynote speaker, which is one of the state senators from Florida. And she will be speaking at that event. So sit tight. We're going to take a commercial break. And when we come back, we're going to hear from some people that have a direct experience with what an overdose really is. We're going to hear from Al Kinkle, the founder of Kimmie's Recovery Zone. We're going to hear from Heidi Webb, the CEO of Kimmie's Recovery Zone. All this coming up and a lot more. You're listening to Rated R for Recovery Special Edition, live from Grace Church. We'll be right back.
Welcome to Kimmie's Corner, where community comes together. Connection, compassion, hope, and heart. Making a difference, making a start. Kimmie's Corner, where recovery shines. Community connection, one voice at a time.
Kimmie's Corner, bringing community connection and compassion to the conversation.
Hi, welcome back, everybody, to Rated R for Recovery. That's ratedrforrecovery.com on the internet. Also, if you haven't already done this, and apparently you have, or you would be hearing my voice, watch us on our YouTube channel, which is simply Rated R, the number 4, Recovery. Hit the like and subscribe button and that little bell for notifications, and you'll be plugged into what we do whenever we do it, such as something like this, Al, which is wonderful. And I say Al because, ladies and gentlemen, sitting next to me is the founder of Kimmie's Recovery Zone, Mr. Al Kenkel. Welcome, Al.
Oh, thank you, John. Glad to be here tonight, and welcome all the people that are coming here tonight for our Fentanyl Awareness and Prevention Day.
What is Fentanyl Awareness and Prevention Day, Al? What is it? What is it meant to be?
Well, it's meant to be to make people more aware of what they're using today, and we have an epidemic, I call it right now, going on with the use of fentanyl. So there's 2 different overdoses. There's an overdose just from drugs, which is dangerous, and we don't want that either. We want people to abstain from using at all. But especially now today when fentanyl's in everything that you use. Today, 90 to 100%, you can be guaranteed that there's some fentanyl in their illegal use. It's not your fentanyl that is from the doctors and used in surgery. So this is made fentanyl, and we've lost about 500,000 people, and we can't talk enough about it. We should be here every day screaming over this microphone. Please stop using because it's dangerous, and you could be the last thing you do is that drug that night.
Al, you and your company, Kimmie's Recovery Zone, that you're founded, are responsible for 90% of the Narcan being distributed over 3 counties in Southwest Florida. When did you first come in contact with Narcan, and how did you hear about it first?
Okay, so we heard about Narcan when after my daughter had passed away. Of course, that night they didn't use Narcan on her, and Kimmie passed. And had they had Narcan, she would have probably lived. So when we were searching out what we wanted to do, one of the first things that we started to do, Heidi and myself, was to bring Narcan to the forefront. And we did that. And then after a couple years of bringing Narcan and letting people know what Narcan is, and it's a breath of life, and we brought it out front, and then finally it's in all the Lee County schools now. The Sheriff's Department uses it. Most companies call us today. A lot of companies call us, not most, but a lot of companies call us, and we have Narcan training. So it is a breath of life, and it has decreased the overdoses by a good margin. So we're blessed that we get it, and happy to give it out to anybody that needs it. And we have a box in front of our building, and you just can go up and help yourself. And today, if you want to buy that, it's about $60 a box. And,
for each little box, for each individual?
Each little box is about $60. Yeah, at the pharmacy. So we give it out, gladly give it out, because we know that it saves somebody's life. And people continuously call us or come in and say that they used our Narcan and somebody's life was saved. And you can't put a number to that.
No,
what is it? A million, billion,
well,
trillion?
Just to give you an idea of how beneficial Narcan has been, 5 years ago, there were over 7,500 deaths attributed to fentanyl overdose. And last year, it was down to about 5,000. Now, one death is too many. We know that. But still, the American Medical Association and the state of Florida determines the use of Narcan is the reason why those deaths have significantly declined.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, definitely the truth. And even in the hospital now, when you go to the hospital, instead of them giving you, an opioid for pain and just giving you that opioid for pain, they try to tell you about the dangers of opioid, and they give you Narcan. They didn't used to do that, John, years ago. But, so everybody recognizes it. And, we're glad that the more that we talk, like tonight, we're going to talk about a lot. And out of that conversation is going to have people changing their mind about using, and hopefully go out and support what we're doing. And they can come and volunteer for us if they like, or they become, if their peers We're looking for some peers all the time. We got great peers, but we're always looking for more.
We're going to get to that. You're listening to Rated R for Recovery, ladies and gentlemen. In case you don't know, ratedrforrecovery.com. We're talking with our first guest, which is Al Kinkle, the founder of Kimmie's Recovery Zone. When you speak about a peer, Al, what is a peer?
Okay, that's somebody that has lived experience and does some schooling. And actually, we teach that now. Heidi and Brittany do that, teach that course, and then they become a peer. Especially, people that have the life experience. And all of us that work there have that life experience, and all of us are peers. I'm a peer, and I took the course. And that peer sits by somebody as long as they have to, and stands next to them until they can get them to understand the danger of use today, and also just the danger of use, period. But they're the ones that really push that boat down the river so that they go in and they get taken care of and get into recovery. There's nothing better than recovery.
No, you're absolutely right. As being one of the can speak for myself in that respect. You just said that all the different people that work at the company here at Kimmie's Recovery Zone are in recovery. Is that true?
Yes. Everyone that is working there is in recovery, which is a blessing to us because they understand the disease. It's a disease, and a lot of people don't understand it. And, a lot of people really like back in the day, but still today, they kind of think, oh, well, they're users of drugs and they're not really going to get anywhere, and they're really not. I can tell you something, man. All my friends are in recovery, but most of the people that I know that are in recovery are so successful in whatever they want to do. So they find out that recovery enables you to be whatever you want to be. So if they want to be the governor of Florida, they can be governor of Florida.
Yes. Or state senators, right?
Or state senator. I was leading into that. We have a state senator at Party in the Park speaking, Osgood, and Senator Osgood, and she is in recovery.
And she is.
She is, yes. You'll love hearing her talk. She's really.
We're going to hear a lot of different people today, or the course of the evening, giving personal testimonies and encouraging speeches on behalf of Kimmie's Recovery Zone, on behalf of the overdose awareness vigil that we're doing here. Would you please tell us what Party in the Park is designed to do?
Okay, so Party in the Park was another thought. I think what we're trying to do with Party in the Park and tonight and everything that we do is just get the message out there and let people understand that, drugs are bad, people are good. So
bad.
So hate the drug, love the people. And I think that's what we do. We make them aware of prevention and hope, and then spread the love because, I think a lot of it's misunderstood. And now finally things are changing pretty good. The last 10 years since Kimmie left, they've drastically changed. And I like to think that was done because we've always had good help at the zone, Kimmie's Recovery Zone. We got Heidi, our chief executive officer, and the community itself is all up. Everything that we've done, we never could have been this successful without the help of the community. And that's the volunteers, that's the collaborators that we with, our community partners. So, our successes are bonded with them.
So this Party in the Park thing is an annual event that started a couple of years ago, third or 4 years, 3 or 4, right?
That's our 5th year.
Okay, and each year it gets bigger and bigger. Mm-hmm. Sometimes the locations change. This year it's at Lake Kennedy Center in Cape Coral, Florida. It's September 12th, right?
Yes.
And the doors open at 11 a.m.?
Yes.
And that's good. So, and there's going to be keynote speakers there?
Yes.
In fact, last year was Kimmie's friend.
Yes.
She was very, very informative and very, very uplifting.
Yes.
Yes.
Amanda Marino. That was Kimmie's best friend. And we actually, before we started the zone, we did have Women Empowering Women, and she started that over in Palm Beach. And we gave scholarships out to women in recovery. And then also we have Kimmie's Angels, which is in the Children's Hospital, and that is earmarked for kids with cancer. And we started that fund right after Kimmie passed too. And then when we heard about what an RCO was, Heidi and myself, and
What is an RCO?
The rest of it's a recovery center. Yeah.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. I'm
So-
just speaking for the people at home that might
Yeah,
not
well,
hear
and
these
it's where you
terms.
go for recovery, and we support recovery. So that's
Right.
basically what it is. So, so when we heard about it, we said that's kind of unique. We don't prescribe anything. That's none of it's non-clinical.
Oh,
So,
it's wonderful. Yeah.
this is all just. I think we do it with hope and love, and that's directs people and understanding their disease is what's very, very important, and that's why our peers are so important.
And
I
just-
mean, real important. They turn people over. I could tell you stories now about the homeless and different people like that were in the midst of a very difficult time of their lives that we have changed and turned them around. Our peers have done that.
So for those of you that I would encourage everybody at home, if you're listening at home, to get to know Kimmie's Recovery Zone by going to kimmiesrecoveryzone.org. If you'd like to make a donation, go to kimmiesrecoveryzone.org and hit donate. Also, Al, the amount of outreach, the amount of community unity in the community, the amount of connection that you provide at Kimmie's Recovery Zone is second to none. I mean, clothing, right?
Yeah.
Food.
Yeah. Yes.
There's all sorts of different things that can be done for the community this way. And so, yes, thank you. All right. So Al, let me ask you this. The vision for Kimmie's Recovery Zone when it first started, and I just got thrown off there for a second. The vision for Kimmie's Recovery Zone when it first opened was what?
Well, the vision for Kimmie's when it first started was to save lives. We were beside ourselves, working
When you
with
say we, are you talking about Mrs. Kinkle and yourself?
Mrs. Kinkle, myself, my friends, Kimmie's friends. Kimmie's best friend was so upset about everything. She went out and she said to me, she said, I can't stay still. I got to do something. So I think that's what happens when people understand what drug addiction is, a brain disease. Everybody wants to get involved, because how many people can say that they saved somebody's life in their lifetime? And that Kimmie Zone, I'd like to say that the peers and the people that work there have saved lives in a very, very frequent.
I totally agree with you. You never know who you're going to touch. You might even know when you save a life and not even know you save a life.
Right, exactly.
And I think that's and you said something about the peers where they can help where other people can't because they've been there.
Right.
That also is a line from the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous in chapter 7. It's called Working with Others. And in that first paragraph, it says nothing, absolutely nothing ensures sobriety than one alcoholic or addict working with another. It works when all other efforts fail. That means it works when jails fail, detoxes fail, rehabs fail. It is the power of one of us working with another that is paramount.
Yes.
So, Al, it's getting a little bit loud in here. So I
Well,
think we should
yeah.
go to a commercial break right now.
Yeah, let's do
And
it.
we'll
Let's
come
do-
back and we'll give a little bit more about what the festivities going on. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, I got one commercial to make, is that the fact that the more that we make people more aware of this, the more help we can get. But also, too, we did a little thing about, when we arrest people sometimes and they're not really themselves and they go to jail, it's not always the best situation, but we understand it's a legal system and we don't get into that. But it's a proven fact that if we can get them and provide the services that they need, and hopefully get the insurance that they need to get some of these services. Of course, our services are free food, free Narcan, free anything that they want. They come every day. But if we can provide services to them, then we can, I think almost everybody that comes through our system changes them for sure.
That is Al Kinkle, ladies and gentlemen, founder of Kimmie's Recovery Zone. You can hear and see Al every Tuesday night on Rated R for Recovery at a segment called Kimmie's Corner, sponsored by Kimmie's Recovery Zone. Once again, Kimmie's Recovery Zone located at 507 Center Road in Fort Myers, kimmiesrecoveryzone.org. We're going to take a commercial break and we'll be back after this.
Have you been charged with a crime? You could face serious penalties for conviction, and it is vitally important that you have skilled legal assistance on your side during this time. Call Brian L. Edwards, Esquire, attorney at law today. 888-512-6254. Results matter. With a track record of success, our methods are tried and true. Mistakes happen, but we can help. Brian L. Edwards, Esquire, attorney at law. Visit FortMyersCriminalLawFirm.com or call 888-512-6254.
When children have to play inside so they don't disappear.
Welcome back to Rated R for Recovery.
Calling all angels.
Welcome back, everybody, to Rated R for Recovery. RatedRforRecovery.com, and also our own YouTube channel, which is simply Rated R, the number 4, Recovery, and then you can find us on YouTube. My guest right now is my friend Brittany, and she's going to talk to us a little bit. Oh, by the way, if you're just joining us, we are at Fentanyl and Overdose Awareness
and Prevention.
And that is celebrated today.
It is celebrated today.
All over the United States?
All over the United States.
All over the world.
All over the world.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Now, the reason why I've asked you up here, you have direct experience with an overdose?
I do.
What does that mean?
So that means there's been a few times where I have, in my active addiction, shooting heroin up, that I've overdosed, where I've woken up and somebody had to tell me, hey, we had to give you CPR, we had to Narcan you last night, and I have no recollection of it. I do not remember anything. The last thing that I can remember when that does happen is getting high. There was a time where I was clean for a little bit, and then I went ahead and I decided that I was going to use again, and I went ahead and decided that I was going to take my own life. And so what happened is so I knew if I got enough that I would do it all at one time. And I remember crying, and I remember putting it all into the rig, and I remember
What's a rig?
It's a needle. I put it all into the needle. I pulled it all up on a deodorant. I turned a deodorant thing upside down. I don't know if anybody understands that, but if you've been in active addiction and have used IV drugs, you do get what I'm saying. And once I did that, I went ahead and I shot it up.
Well, for the people that have never used IV drugs,
Yeah.
and I'm one of them, I was a crack smoker.
Okay.
What does deodorant have to do with it? Or is it the container that has...
So it's the container. It's just something that I could use to put my dope in, to mix it up, to draw it up with my needle. So
And
it
you
could
mix
have been
that
a
with water.
Mix it with water, Gatorade, tea, the clean water from the back of a toilet, puddle water, anything that could break this down, because that's just where my addiction took me. It didn't matter what it was.
Does it taste different when you mix it with Gatorade?
It does.
Okay, just checking. Not that
Yes,
we want
it
to try.
does.
Not that I want to try that. So,
Yeah.
Okay. So, how much does it take for a person to overdose, or is it different with every person?
I think it's different with every person, and I also think it has a lot to do with tolerance. So this was a time where I wasn't doing heroin. I had stopped for about a month, and then I knew that if I did, I did 2 bags, and I knew if I did those 2 bags, I knew 100% that I was going to overdose. But there's been times where I got out of prison, and I wasn't really familiar with, the fentanyl or the heroin that was out. So I did a little bit, and I overdosed.
So this, ladies and gentlemen, I'll show you something it's I don't know how interesting it is, but if you can see Brittany, and she looks like a regular young lady. She's engaged to be married now to our friend Tim, and she's very happy about that. She's gainfully employed at Kimmie's Recovery Zone, so she doesn't look like somebody that's going to prison. And so that's where the drugs took you then.
Oh, yeah, for sure. 100%. I grew up in the county jail here in Lee County, and then also went off to prison. And once I went to prison, it was then when I decided to make the change, like, hey, either I'm going to end up in prison for the rest of my life, or I need to do something about my addiction. I need to get away and learn how to live, think, act, blink without getting high.
Now, were you a violent offender?
I wasn't a violent offender, but that doesn't mean that I wasn't a violent person. I became a very violent person.
Okay, so what's the difference between a violent offender and a violent person?
A violent offender is when you get caught being violent.
So you were just violent and didn't get caught being
That's
violent.
right.
Okay. All right. So Now, how many times have you overdosed?
You know, I was trying to think about that earlier whenever you asked me to talk about what it's like to overdose. You know, I'm pretty sure I've overdosed probably 3 times, maybe more. I'm not exactly sure, but the one time that I remember, when I was doing it on purpose, I remember after, shooting up, it going into my vein. I remember feeling the effect, and I remember standing up, and in my mind, I said, "Oh shit, I can't breathe." And it's like something turned off on my brain where that automatic response that's in your brain or in your nervous system, that turned off. That automatic nervous system that makes your brain breathe automatically, that no longer was in effect. And so that's what happened whenever I overdosed. I no longer was able to breathe automatically. And then after that, I don't remember anything. I woke up, and when I woke up, my right here in the middle of my chest hurt so bad, because there was no Narcan. There wasn't any Narcan around. And so they gave me CPR for about 20 minutes. My dad and his friend found me, and they gave me
So
CPR.
the pressure on your chest is what damaged you, and it hurt you that way. Is that what you're saying?
So bad. Yes.
Very
so
good.
bad.
Very, very interesting. Well, so what is it like working for Kimmie's Recovery Zone?
Oh, working for Kimmie's Recovery Zone. Here's the thing. With a background so extensive like mine, it's like the one thing that like kicks me every single time, right? Every single time I go to get a job, it's always, we got to do a background check, and I'm like, damn, I'm not going to pass it, right? And so when I heard about being a peer recovery specialist, which I really had no idea what that was, it was a time in my life where I had a glimpse of hope where I could actually utilize my background and my lived experience to help others. And so that's what I get to do at Kimmie's Recovery Zone. I get to utilize my lived experience. I also get to teach others how to professionally utilize their lived experience to be peer recovery specialists in the field in different organizations.
Very nice. So, ladies and gentlemen, you've been listening to our friend Brittany talk about firsthand what it's like to overdose on narcotics. And because what we're doing here is we're honoring the people that haven't made it, the people that have made the ultimate sacrifice as we conduct a fentanyl a prevention and awareness vigil, which it is today. I think, are they clapping for us?
I'm not sure.
I'm
I
not
don't
sure
think so.
either.
I think
I'm not sure either.
Maybe they're clapping for the event. This is an amazing event.
But yeah.
I think everybody knows somebody that has battled with addiction or has passed away.
Well, it's funny you should say that, because that's the basis for what we created Rated R for Recovery, was because everybody knows somebody that's been affected by drug addiction in some way. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're in the Lee County, Collier County, Charlotte County area, come on down to Grace United Methodist Church, located at the corner of Edison and Grand. Actual address would be 2415 Grand Avenue. Have something to eat and hear some keynote speakers. In fact, we're going to be kicking this off very shortly. You're listening to Rated R for Recovery, sponsored by Kimmie's Recovery Zone. We'll be right back.
Have you been charged with a crime? You could face serious penalties for conviction, and it is vitally important that you have skilled legal assistance on your side during this time. Call Brian L. Edwards, Esquire, attorney at law today. 888-512-6254. Results matter. With a track record of success, our methods are tried and true. Mistakes happen, but we can help. Brian L. Edwards, Esquire, attorney at law. Visit FortMyersCriminalLawFirm.com or call 888-512-6254.
Kimmie, I hope I'm making you proud.
He had a little girl named Kimmie with a laugh that lit the room. Then fentanyl came like a storm cloud and took her away too soon. He kneeled down by her bedside with a prayer he could not shake. Then he said, I won't just break here, I will build for others' sake. So he opened up the doors where the hurting could walk in, with a couch, a meal, a blanket, and a chance to start again. Kimmie's Recovery Zone. Kimmie's Recovery Zone. For our community, boxes by the wall. There are nights he stays up answering every single call. A father with a broken heart who turned pain into a light. Now he hands out help in silence till somebody makes it right. From the ashes of his sorrow, he makes shelter out of grief. And now every soul that reaches finds a place to breathe. Kimmie's recovery zone. Kimmie's recovery zone. For a community. For a community. Where the hungry find a table and the lost can find a home. Kimmie's recovery zone. Kimmie's recovery zone. For Kimmie, he keeps going. For the ones who need a way. For the moms and dads and brothers who are fighting night by day. If your hands are full of falling, if your name feels far from hope, step inside, the door is open. You are not alone. Kimmie's recovery zone. Kimmie's recovery zone. For our community. For our community. Where the hungry find a table and the lost can find a home. Kimmie's recovery zone. Kimmie's recovery zone. Kimmie's recovery zone. Kimmie's recovery zone. For our community. For our community. Where the hungry find a table and the lost can find a home. Kimmie's recovery zone. Kimmie's recovery zone.
Kimmie, I hope I'm making you proud. Hi, this is Al Kinkle. We would like to invite everyone to Party in the Park 2026 on September 12th during National Recovery Month. This year's event will be held at Lake Kennedy Center in Cape Coral, Florida. For sponsorship packages and volunteer info, visit kimmiesrecoveryzone.org. Let's make this year's event the most memorable yet.
When children have to play inside so they don't disappear. Now,
Welcome back to Rated R for Recovery.
calling all angels.
Hi, welcome back to Rated R for Recovery, ratedrforrecovery.com. I've got this big smile on my face because our executive producer, Mark Santora, who is running this rig as doing our remote broadcast, loves his job so much that I just get pleasure out of watching him love his job, as I do my guest next to me. She is the CEO of Kimmie's Recovery Zone, which is the sponsor of Rated R for Recovery. In fact, we do our show weekly on Tuesdays starting at 6 p.m. from the KRZ studios, which is actually Kimmie's Recovery Zone, at 507 Center Road in Fort Myers. And thanks to people like Heidi, and this is who's sitting next to me, we're able to do the show from that location. Welcome, Heidi Webb. Heidi, welcome.
Thank you, John.
So very good. So that was Mark in the background. Heidi, what is your role at Kimmie's Recovery Zone?
So I'm the CEO of Kimmie's Recovery Zone.
What does that mean?
Well, from the beginning, Al and I built Kimmie's Recovery Zone, and we got grant funding, filed the articles of incorporation, got grant funding, started hiring peer specialists.
That didn't all happen at one time, though. So how did you meet Al, first of all? Let's go back to the beginning.
Okay, so I met Al back in 2018, I believe.
Okay.
And we instantly connected and talked about things that he wants to do, he would like to see in the community, things I would like to see in the community, and we work together to move the mission forward.
So this is before Kimmie's passing.
No, Kimmie passed in 2015.
I see. Okay.
Yes.
So he shared a vision of what he wanted to do to honor her memory.
Yes.
And then you came aboard to run the company, essentially, or to help run the company, facilitating the grants, getting everything together. What year did you open the door?
2019 is when the Articles of Incorporation were filed.
Wonderful. Congratulations on all the hard work you've done.
Yes.
So today we're honoring or remembering the people that didn't make it, like Kimmie, and thousands and thousands of other people that have passed away due to this drug, fentanyl. And it is a day that is celebrated or honored around the country, correct? Not just here.
Yes, that is correct. And the purpose is to focus on fentanyl awareness and the risks of the poisoning from fentanyl. There's August 31st is International Overdose Awareness Day, but today on August 21st every year, it focuses on its National Fentanyl and Awareness Prevention.
And justifiably so, because I'm assuming that the greater amount of overdoses are a direct result to fentanyl.
There are a great number of overdoses as a direct result of illicit fentanyl.
What do we have to look forward to, and what do the listeners have to look forward to from the speakers today?
So today, Al is going to tell his story about the loss of his daughter, Kimmie, and we have a few other speakers who have also lost their children.
Okay.
And our job here is to raise awareness, to educate the community, talk about Narcan, the use of Narcan. We want to save lives because fentanyl is a deadly poison.
Yes. So not only are we going to talk about that, but we're also here to encourage people and to create awareness for an event called Party in the Park, which is September 12th.
Yes.
At Lake Kennedy Center in Cape Coral, Florida. And the idea for Party in the Park came about when?
5 years ago.
And that was...
So this is our 5th year. We do it annually. And we celebrate Recovery Month, National Recovery Month, which is in September.
It is in September. Your role, you're a person in long-term recovery. Do you mind me saying that?
No, I don't. Not at all. 25 years.
25 years of continuous sobriety is nothing to shake a stick at. So how did that start for you?
So I made a decision that I can no longer live the way I was living, and I asked for help.
And what was that help was given in a form of what?
So I did go into detox. I went into treatment, and I was introduced to a 12-step program. While I was in treatment, the 12-step fellowship would come into the facility where I was, and they talked about before you go home and put your bags down, make a meeting. And that's what I did.
And you did that. You followed the suggestions of the people that have come before us. And that's how it works. We were just talking with Brittany before about how nothing ensures sobriety or clean time, however you want to put it, than one of us working with another person. Do you agree with that?
I agree.
Okay. So what else? Is there anything else that I've left out before we?
Yeah. So I do want to point out that it's not just about the stopping using. It's about rebuilding our lives, right? So recovery is about home, purpose, community, health, right? So what we do at Kimmie's Recovery Zone is we wrap around the individual to help build recovery capital.
And you are so true. What I get to do on a daily basis is touch bases on all those aspects that you said. It is not just putting the drugs and the alcohol down.
Right.
In fact, we've been taught that the drugs and alcohol are merely a symptom of a greater problem. I don't have a drinking problem. I got a thinking problem.
Yeah.
And if I change the way I think, then I change the way I live. Awesome stuff.
Yeah.
Thank you so much,
You're
Heidi.
welcome. Thank you,
Ladies
John.
and gentlemen, we're going to take another pause, and I think the event is about to start, so we'll see what happens from here. You're listening to Rated R for Recovery, sponsored by Kimmie's Recovery Zone. We're at the Fentanyl Prevention and Awareness Vigil tonight that'll be going on for a couple of hours with some keynote speakers. So join us. We'll be right back.
Thanks, Sean.
Thank you, Heidi.
What do I do? Push this?
This little...
Have you been charged with a crime? You could face serious penalties for conviction, and it is vitally important that you have skilled legal assistance on your side during this time. Call Brian L. Edwards, Esquire, attorney at law today. 888-512-6254. Results matter. With a track record of success, our methods are tried and true. Mistakes happen, but we can help. Brian L. Edwards, Esquire, attorney at law. Visit FortMyersCriminalLawFirm.com or call 888-512-6254.
Kimmie, I hope I'm making you proud.
He had a little girl named Kimmie with a laugh that lit the room. Then fentanyl came like a storm cloud and took her way too soon. He kneeled down by her bedside with a prayer he could not shake. Then he said, I won't just break here, I will build for others' sake. So he opened up the doors where the hurting could walk in, with a couch, a meal, a blanket, and a chance to start again. Kimmie's recovery zone. Kimmie's recovery zone. For our community. For our community. Where the hungry find a table and the lost can find a home. Kimmie's recovery zone. Kimmie's recovery zone. There are folding chairs and coffee. There are boxes by the wall. There are nights he stays up answering every single call. A father with a broken heart who turned pain into a light. Now he hands out help in silence till somebody makes it right. From the ashes of his sorrow, he made shelter out of grief. And now every soul that reaches finds a place to breathe. Kimmie's recovery zone. Kimmie's recovery zone. For our community. For our community. Where the hungry find a table and the lost can find a home. Kimmie's recovery zone. Kimmie's recovery zone. For Kimmie, he keeps going. For the ones who need a way. For the moms and dads and brothers who are fighting night by day. If your hands are full of falling, if your name feels far from hope, step inside, the door is open. You are not alone. Kimmie's recovery zone. Kimmie's recovery zone. For our community. For our community. Where the hungry find a table and the lost can find a home. Kimmie's recovery zone. Kimmie's recovery zone. Kimmie's recovery zone. Kimmie's recovery zone. For our community. For our community. Where the hungry find a table and the lost can find a home. Kimmie's recovery zone. Kimmie's recovery zone.
Kimmie, I hope I'm making you proud. Hi, this is Al Kinkle. We would like to invite everyone to Party in the Park 2026 on September 12th during National Recovery Month. This year's event will be held at Lake Kennedy Center in Cape Coral, Florida. For sponsorship packages and volunteer info, visit kimmiesrecoveryzone.org. Let's make this year's event the most memorable yet.
When children have to play inside so they don't disappear.
Welcome back to Rated R for Recovery.
Call it all angels.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Rated R for Recovery and Rated R for Recovery YouTube, sponsored by Kimmie's Recovery Zone. And I'm sitting along with my usual co-host. This is Joy. Joy, we're here to celebrate the people that have come before us or have not made it.
Yeah, the fentanyl epidemic has just been crazy, and especially in the Northeast, but all over the country. Go ahead.
No. So I didn't mean to interrupt, but so I got to look this up again, because if I say a figure of 7,500, do you think that would be the state of Florida or the country?
I don't know, but I would think maybe this year.
I think
7,000
yes,
so far.
No, it was 7,500 5 years ago, and it's been reduced this past year of 2025 to 5,000, and that I believe is in the
state of Florida.
I would think, of Florida,
because we saw some statistics Tuesday night about 42,000, and I think that was
the country, right?
Yeah.
42. Yes. So yeah, and I should have known that because I'm the one that looked this up. But this is according to the American Medical Association and the Department of Corrections, that 7,500 people in the state of Florida passed away 5 years ago to drug overdose directly associated with fentanyl.
Yeah.
And then last year it's been reduced to 5,000, and the American Medical Association cites Narcan with being the number one reason.
And Kimmie's Recovery Zone passes out Narcan to anybody who will take it. They have it at the front door here tonight, and they also have these little fentanyl test strips here so that you can test your drugs.
What does that mean?
It means you can, if you buy something, especially off the street, you can use these little test strips and test it to make sure there's no fentanyl in your drugs, because that's one of the ways that it gets you. You think you're buying Xanax, you think you're buying whatever, opiates, and what you're buying is pressed fentanyl.
Interesting.
And
Very
it can
good.
kill you.
And we're giving those away tonight?
Yeah, there's little packs of them.
Okay, all right. Well, that's something to make note of. We have some keynote speakers tonight from all different backgrounds. The first person that's going to speak will be the founder of Kimmie's Recovery Zone, and that's Al. And Al's been our friend and does a special segment on Rated R for Recovery called Kimmie's Corner. And Al is very informative. Joy actually does the segment with him, and it's always something good.
And it's called Kimmie's Recovery Zone because Al was directly affected by fentanyl when his daughter Kimmie died from an overdose of fentanyl. And he has spent the rest of his life working on getting Narcan to everyone who will take it, to institutions, to schools, to hospitals, to treatment centers, especially the treatment center that I work for. We give Narcan to everybody when they are discharged, and it's directly because of Al Kinkle and Kimmie's Recovery Zone.
Yes, and also first responders, both the fire department, the EMTs, and the police carry it as well. Another thing, Joy, that we're here to pump up is Party in the Park.
Can't wait for that. When is it?
It's right there. It's on the 12th of next month. Next month is National Recovery Month, and it'll be at Lake Kennedy Park. And I think I'm getting the high. Am I getting the high sign from people, Mark?
I don't know. Well, you'll know.
I will know.
You'll know
That's
it when they really mean it.
Okay.
They'll tell you.
All right. So Joy, we've been doing this show since what year?
2013, on and off.
I always have to ask Joy how long we've been doing this show because I
I wouldn't have remembered, except I found some old emails when we first started doing the show asking for support.
We were blessed to be able to do the show when we first started on 96 K-Rock, and then we went from a couple of different locations, and then I relapsed, so we couldn't be talking about recovery when you're smoking crack. So
you tried.
I tried, but it didn't. Yeah, but anyway, so what's in the dark usually comes to the light.
Always comes to the light. Thank you, Melody.
Joy, what do you think about the fact that the drug overdoses have gone down and attributed to Narcan. Do you think that is a direct result of the Narcan being distributed?
I do.
Okay.
Because people didn't know, and they didn't know what to do. And you pass out when you're doing drugs, and everybody just thinks, oh, you're overdosing, and they don't really know what drugs you've been on. And so you just died.
Yes, you do. And we had Brittany up here a little while ago talking about what it's like to overdose. She's overdosed multiple times, and she's describing to the audience at home what it was like.
Was she ever given fentanyl?
Narcan, you mean?
I'm not. Yeah.
Yes, I believe so.
Wow.
Yes. No, the last time she overdosed was CPR from her father and her uncle.
Oh my gosh.
So when the first thing she noticed when she came to was the pain in her chest from being compressed like that. So
yeah, they usually break a few ribs.
Okay, well,
if they're doing it right.
Okay, I don't know anything about that. So
Yeah.
Do you come in contact with that at work?
I've never had to do CPR on anyone. I've had issues with oxygen, people not getting enough oxygen and having to send them out. But I know how to do CPR. I've just never had to do it.
Very good, very good. So Joy works at a dual diagnosis treatment center as a nurse, and I work at a dual diagnosis treatment facilitating substance abuse groups. And I'm running out of things to say.
Well, what else we got?
We don't have.
We got nothing.
We can talk about the senator, and
I would love that.
She is the keynote speaker at Party in the Park. What's her name, Joy?
Senator Osgood.
And she is in recovery as well. Did you know that?
She is. I think she sat down and told some people, asked who else at the table was a crackhead, and they all looked around like, what are you talking about? And so she has drug addiction in her past, and now she's a senator in Florida, and she's going to speak for us at Party in the Park, and I think that is so exciting.
Oh, I do too. Each year at Party in the Park is a keynote speaker that's got some experience, strength, and hope that's just dynamic speakers. And so over to we're going to take another break. So we're going to take a break, and the next thing you're going to hear is when we come back from our next commercial break, we're going to be live as we are from Grace Church, 2415 Grand Avenue, Rated R for Recovery, sponsored by Kimmie's Recovery Zone, and we'll start our speakers when we come back from commercial break. You're listening to Rated R for Recovery, ratedrforecovery.com. We'll be right back.
Yet.
Welcome to Kimmie's Corner, where community comes together. Connection, compassion, hope, and heart. Making a difference, making a start. Kimmie's Corner, where recovery shines. Community connection, one voice at a time.
Kimmie's Corner, bringing community, connection, and compassion to the conversation.
Welcome back to Rated R for Recovery, sponsored by Kimmie's Recovery Zone. Not so much about Rated R for Recovery right now. It's more so about Kimmie's Recovery Zone and what they do in the community. One of the things they do each and every year is have an overdose awareness vigil for the people that may have not made it this far. One of the sad facts that Joy and I talk about each week is everybody has somebody in their life that has been affected by drugs or alcohol in some way, whether it's a daughter, whether it's a family member, whether it's a neighbor, whether it's a friend, everybody. And that's a sad, sad statistic. So what we're doing right now is we're talking about fentanyl avoidance, or how to stay away from it, and how not to use it, and all sorts of different ways, and we're going to hear a lot of great testimonies. The first is a dear friend of mine, who is the founder of Kimmie's Recovery Zone, and I'm going to stop talking right now and introduce Al Kinkle, founder of Kimmie's Recovery Zone.
Well, thank you very much. Nice welcome. Makes me feel warm. But what makes me feel really, really good is tonight with a great crowd that we have here that are hopefully looking for some information that hopefully we'll provide tonight for you. We have a couple guest speakers tonight that will come up and talk about things that are important to this community. And what we do here tonight is very important to this community. We are in a crisis situation today. We have a brain health situation. I think everybody could say that somebody in their family has a brain health issue, and that issue sometimes becomes something else. It could just start with anxiety or depression or something like that. And before you know it, somebody picks up something or is given something and not knowing what it is, but it made them feel good. So I think I'll try that for the next 10 or 20 years. That's what happens when it comes to addiction, active addiction. But we want to put a stop to it. We want to put a stop to it because today it could be your last day that you did that drug. It could be a death sentence. It's a death sentence for mom, dad, sister, brothers, aunts, uncles, wherever they work, for the police department. The circle is so huge from addiction. But the person that's suffering from the disease of addiction, and it is a disease, it's been called a disease, and I'm calling it a disease now. So when you look at people and push them in the corner and think that they're just a bunch of druggies, they're not, man. They're just people suffering something, whether it's trauma or whether it's another problem that they might have. So we have to stick together. We have to inform the community. Over, I forget the exact number, but I think it's something like 500,000 people have died from an overdose. So you can overdose on something, or you can be poisoned by fentanyl. My daughter Kimmie was poisoned by fentanyl. Her last night on earth, she decided she was clean and sober for 2 years. She was going to come home the next day. I talked to her at 1:30 in the morning. She was fine. The next morning, I got a call. She was on life support for 6 days because in the drug that she decided she would do one more time, that fentanyl was in there. And I can tell you those stories all day long right here tonight, that people have suffered from taking a painkiller that they thought just was a painkiller, and it was stamped with fentanyl. Kids that are using marijuana today, everybody says, oh, it's just marijuana. We're not doing anything worse than that. And they have a card to do marijuana. Well, I can give a good example. I won't mention that person tonight, and I'll give you a good example. That child is not on this earth no more because it was laced with fentanyl. So the deal tonight is, please, the people that are here tonight have an interest in somebody and themselves. Please put the word out there. If you know somebody that's suffering, have them call Kimmie's Recovery Zone. We're there, we're ready, we don't charge. We're all peers there. I'm a peer, Heidi's a peer, we're all peers. Brittany, the one that put this together tonight for me, look at all this. 4 pages, I can't get through this. Take me an hour. And then Heidi's checking all my work faithfully, like she always does, and Eileen's sitting back there checking me. They're all checking me. I got 3 people checking me. But at any rate, it's a great honor to be here tonight to honor the families that have lost a loved one. There I go again. It breaks my heart. My heart is broken because of the suffering that you have been going through. And, I just pray that this will end. All the people that have left this earth because of drugs, it's just out of control. And we're trying to do something here in Lee County with all the active partnerships that we have and a great team that we have at Kimmie Zone. And like I say, we're peers, so we understand what you're going through. We can take you through it. We can hold your hand. We can drive you there. But we want you to get better. And just lean on us and lean on whoever's close to you. But don't forget, you can do this. And once you do it, you're a different person. Your life has changed and things will be all right. And when you do it, the time doesn't count. If you're 15, 16, 50, 60, or 75, you can stop. That's when my turn came. But at any rate, God bless each and every one of you. Thank you for being here tonight. We're here to instill some hope. And the main thing that I think is a good antidote for people that are suffering or have somebody in the family that's suffering, get some help, call us, but love that person. They really didn't do anything wrong. They went down a lane that's very hard to fight, and that's addiction. It's not easy. It's very, very difficult. You know, I've seen it all my life. I've witnessed it and I've done it, and it's very difficult. So thank you for being here, and we have some people going to come up and speak. You said it. Come here. We know each other for hours and hours, all right? Come on up here and let's hear your story. God bless you both of you.
Thanks, Al. Ed and Kelly Leisman, this is our son, Joshua. If she needs to take the microphone off me suddenly, it's because it gets hard sometimes to talk about Josh. We are originally from Pittsburgh, so if any of you have watched the stories about the fentanyl crisis, most of them will talk about the area that we live in, which is Southwest Pennsylvania going into West Virginia, and that's where they decided to start this whole, we're going to prescribe opioids for everything, and that's exactly what happened with our son. He was a very talented, recruitable young hockey player who got a back injury and was prescribed with opioids, and that was the beginning. He was never able to get off of it. He went through, I'm not telling a story that none of you haven't gone through. How many, I lost track of rehabs. And came to Florida. We thought that would be great. Get away from people, places, things. And I mean, he always said, you put an addict on a desert island, the first thing you'll find is his supply. So he went through all that down here. He was doing very well, and had one slip up, much like many do, and it was laced with fentanyl. He was
28.
28. I was telling Al, not interesting, very, very sad thing is the way we grow as people. Like, addiction turns everything the opposite to me. They say if love could, there wouldn't be addiction if love could save it, right? More or less. It turns instincts of parents upside down, and it turns what we as people growing upside down. So we grow by making mistakes, right? We fall down, we learn, we get better. And with fentanyl, there's no mistakes. Kids nowadays can't make mistakes because it could be their last. One try doesn't equal a hangover next morning where I go, I don't ever do that again. It's the end. So I think it's important, and God bless Al and his organization, because that's all we want to do.
So my daughter lived here in Florida at the time at he was just going to school at FGCU. 2 days prior to Josh passing, my husband was in Florida interviewing for a job because we wanted to move to Florida to be by our kids. They were both in Florida. On the June 30th, or July 30th, my husband was able to, after his interviews, take my son who lived over in Pompano and brought him over here to Fort Myers to see his sister at FGCU. And they were able to spend the 2 days with each other. And, you know, she was 8 years younger than Josh, so she had a lot of anger about her brother, you know, going through a lot of things, you know, her computer being stolen and sold. And at the time when she was younger, she really didn't understand that this addiction was a disease. She just had anger with him. And after coming to school at FGCU, she joined many organizations down here and went to Nar-Anon meetings and started to really understand what addiction really was and why her brother was the way he was. And she joined it was the Southwest Drug-Free League Coalition. It's now called Thrive League. And she is on the board of that. And 2 days later, we got the call that our son had died from the fentanyl poisoning. And I can tell you it was probably the biggest blessing that Ed and Riley were with him 2 days prior, because Riley was at peace with the fact that she was okay with her brother. Because 2 days later, he was no longer here. After joining the Thrive League Coalition, she's on the board, and we are involved with the run, the 5K run. We raise funds for education and prevention for the Thrive League. And we also work with Church on the Streets. We serve homeless every Tuesday over at the North Fort Myers Park. And we find that fulfilling for us also, because there were times that Josh was in Florida, and when he was actively using, he was homeless. And I always worried about if he had a meal to eat. So we're very involved with that, and we will continue to try in any way to help with education and prevention so that no other parent has to suffer, or any other, we don't have to lose any more of our family members to this terrible disease. Thank you.
Thank you both very much. These are these stories that we hear, Al, is just like you said, heartbroken. So, Al, I don't know if I ever told you this, but my mother died thinking that my problem was something she did wrong raising. So, here, you can introduce Donna.
Yeah, that story was told to me tonight, and please don't take responsibility for what we do, because we really can't take responsibility for what we do either. So if you're trying to blame yourself or trying to pull yourself down, take it out on somebody else, it's a bad path to go. We shouldn't do that, but we do it. I've done it, but I've learned from it. So, please take it easy on yourself. Give yourself plenty of grace, because you're really just trying to figure out what's going on with that person that's suffering from a tragic, terrible disease. And just stick by them as best you can and give them lots of love. And that's the prescription, I think works, but it's very hard to understand. And you need to get the information for yourself, like coming here tonight and listen to a family talk about their loss. I mean, that's a good note to for somebody to do, because that makes you think. Because it happened to us, it can happen to anybody. You're not bulletproof, none of us are. And I look around and I see nothing but good people in this room tonight. It's going to leave here tonight with more information. You leave here tonight with goodness in your heart and help somebody that needs your help. Because you can help somebody. What a joy that is when you help somebody and bring them back to safe place, bring them back. How many people can say, I changed that person's life? We have all our organizations, NAAA, and all those other organizations, CA, all working together and changing people's lives. Every day I walk in and I see somebody that's a miracle. And even hospitals don't do that as much as we do. I'm sorry, hospitals don't do that. But at any rate, you know what I'm saying? It's really up to us to take care of this until we get enough services provided to people. So it's all on us right now. So I'd like to bring up Donna. Donna will share. Donna's going to share her experiences, and Donna's great. She's with us on our board of directors, just a great person. She just wanted to say a few words to enlighten people. She'll tell you the story.
Okay, thank you. Hi, I'm Donna. I lost my son 6 years ago to fentanyl, and he has 2 boys that he left behind. And I thought for sure when he was living in sober living for the last time that he was going down the right path. And we had talked the day before, and the morning that it actually happened, I called him and he didn't answer the phone. And I was in a sales meeting, and when I came out of the sales meeting, I saw I had missed calls from him. And I was like, I'm gonna call him after work, because I knew it was gonna be a long conversation. I went to lunch, which I normally didn't do, and at lunch, my second son kept calling me. He never calls me at all. I've barely ever talked to me. And he just kept calling and calling and calling, and my friend said, you better answer that. And when I answered it, he was screaming, crying that he had gotten a phone call from Thomas's friend, and he said he's gone. And I'm like, what do you mean? He was gone. He did it one last time. I guess he couldn't see his kids, and that was enough for him. And it doesn't matter. It is truly a disease, and it doesn't only affect you or the addict. It affects the family members, the brothers, the sisters. And my youngest son has a lot of guilt because in January, before Thomas passed away in March, he had sent a text to everyone asking for forgiveness. And I don't know what made me say this to my kids, the two boys and my daughter, in February, that Thomas had reached out. And I know he did because he told me. And I told both of them, all three of them actually, that they should respond to him. The youngest son didn't because he was angry still. And till this day, he has guilt that he didn't make that call. So for me, we lived here since 2005. Thomas probably struggled from about 2015 till he passed, maybe sooner than that, but I wish Kimmie's was there in 2020 because he didn't have money, he didn't have insurance, he had nowhere to go. I Googled everything in town. If you didn't have money and you didn't have insurance, they didn't want to hear anything from you. And now what Al's doing is amazing, and I wanted to be a part of it. It means a lot to me. And not only do I sit on the board, I volunteer for all of the events, and I make sure I'm there, and it feels good for me. And I know he's watching, and I know he's sorry for what he's done. And it's sad because his kids, I'm one of few that has his children to kind of live his legacy. And his oldest son looks, walks, talks, everything just like Thomas. So I'm grateful for that, but at the same time, I wish he was here because he's missing a lot. Thank you.
Thank you, Donna. And the people that come up here tonight and talk, they know what the pain feels like. And believe it or not, they know what they had to go through. And the reason they get up and talk and have the courage to volunteer in places like Kimmie Zone, there's plenty of places you could volunteer, but we love you at Kimmie Zone. But the deal is that they talk because they don't want to see people go through what they've been through. And tonight you're witnessing that. And I think in your heart tonight, you will feel what they feel. And that'll make you change whatever you're doing, if you're doing. I don't think so, but if that's the case, then you're going to change your mind maybe. And then the other thing is, don't leave anybody behind. Nobody alone. Hold their hand. If you can't handle it, again, call Kimmie Zone. I don't want to sound like a commercial, but we are there to help you. And there's no charge. We have food there, so if they need food, we can get them food. We can get driver's license. We do all kinds of things over there to help people to get them uplifted and get them back into society. There's lots of things that they don't have when they come to us. And the staff works very, very hard to get them all the credentials that they need and things like that so they can provide the services. And then I'll say, this is a commercial. Please, somebody, give us insurance, give everybody insurance. We really need that. I hate to say that, but I'm going to say it. That's one of the things that hold back our recovery, is trying to get somewhere that takes us, that don't charge insurance or takes us at all without insurance. So please pray that, we start opening those doors too with the insurance companies. They're the ones. And like I said, we have a lot of partnerships and with the hospital of Sandia. The hospital is a big partner of ours. They help us out and been helping us for many, many years. So thank God, all hospitals and the health part, Dr. Issues and the big support of ours too, and everybody here at the hospital. And we have Joanne, Joanne.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name's Joanne, and my daughter, Whitney, was more than just an addict. She was a beautiful girl who had a beautiful soul, who wanted to be clean more than anything. She was in and out of recovery. I can't tell you how many times. She worked really hard. And I wrote down some things because I really want you to see who she was. No parent imagines that they would outlive their child. There are no words that truly capture the pain that I live with and that my family lives with every single day. We live with love and loss side by side. My daughter wasn't a statistic or a headline. She was a person who had dreams, who was a good friend, who loved her friends and loved her family. But when she was using, she was a different person. When people hear the word overdose, they sometimes make assumptions. But before you know how Whitney died, I want you to know how she lived. Whitney was kind and talented. She wanted to learn something new. She learned it on her own. But she decided she wanted to do something. She did it. She taught herself how to play guitar. She taught herself how to crochet. But she didn't do it for herself. She made blankets for sick children in the hospital. She would go and visit people in recovery when she was clean, and she would make blankets for them because they didn't have any. She saw people were hurting and wanted them to know someone cared. Whitney struggled with addiction most of her life, but she was, and also was, one of the strongest people I have ever known. She was in and out of recovery for years and never gave up trying to be clean. This last time, she had 2.5 years clean. And even though I knew, and every day I would pray that that day was a good day, I lived in fear most of the time. She had a wonderful sponsor. She sponsored people. She went faithfully to meetings and had an amazing support group. She worked every day to build a better life. She was excited about moving to a new place. She was excited about her job that she got. That was her dream job. But then fentanyl took it all away in 1 second. She was 35 years old, and she passed away April 20th, 24. People often think recovery is a straight line, but it isn't. It's filled with hope and hard work and victories, and sometimes heartbreaking setbacks. Whitney wanted to live. She wanted her future, and she fought for it every single day. One of the hardest things for me to understand is that Whitney helped so many people, but yet she couldn't help herself. Addiction doesn't always make sense. You can have love and support and determination and still lose the battle. That's why we need more compassion and less judgment. As her mom, I miss her every single day. I miss our conversations. I miss watching her get excited about things. There isn't a day that goes by that I don't wish I could hug her just one more time. I am of the woman she became and how proud I was of her. The weekend before Whitney passed away, we were at her sister's wedding, and 5 days later I was planning her funeral. So we went from a really happy family, and I'm very happy that she was there and she was well, and she enjoyed that time with the family, and her sister and brother got to heal a little bit during that time. We went from the happiest weekend to the saddest week. Today, I don't share Whitney's story so people will remember how she died. I share it so that they will remember how she lived. I want people to remember my daughter who loved others, gave of herself, and never stopped believing. She fought with incredible courage to build a better life, and that's the legacy she left behind. And that's the person I hope that you all will remember today. If sharing Whitney's story helps one person ask for help, one parent or a family member have a difficult conversation, or this story saves a life, then her legacy will continue. She mattered. Please remember her not for the day we lost her, but for the love she gave and the lives she touched, and the hope that her story might save someone else's child. Thank you for listening, and thank you for remembering her. This is the one disease that tells you it's not a disease. And thank you for inviting me today and for sharing and for letting me share her story. She was really an amazing human, and we're all sad that she's not here, but the people that remember her still remember to this day and still carry her legacy. Thank you.
So one thing I always share when we're talking about overdose is something that blew me away when I first started working here and learning about it, is that in the United States of America, if you're between the ages of 18 and 44, the number one cause of death, more than cancer, more than heart disease, more than gun violence, more than anything else, is an overdose. More people die from an overdose than anything else in the United States of America if you're between 18 and 44. It's an epidemic. It kills more than literally anything. So it's important that we know how to use this. Narcan, it's also called naloxone. It's a nasal spray that prevents an overdose from continuing on or pauses an overdose. That's really what it does. So Brittany's got a Narcan nasal spray here. There are 2 doses in each box if you receive one. What you want to do when you first run up to somebody and see that they're unresponsive, the moniker to remember is lay, spray, stay. So we're going to lay them on their back and try to wake them up first, right? So that can be a sternum rub, that can be shaking, that can be yelling their name. We're going to see if they can wake up first. If that doesn't do it, we're going to administer Narcan. So Brittany has the nasal spray here. There's a small plunger in the center. You're going to hold that up to the tip of their nose, and you're going to press the plunger. It clicks, and then you can roll them into the recovery position on their side, call 911, and wait for emergency personnel to respond. A Narcan instruction, a set of instructions here on the box, is going to tell you to wait about 2 to 3 minutes and then administer another dose. Brittany will tell you this, I will tell you this. When you're in an emergency situation, 3 minutes feels like an hour. And so a lot of times you wind up administering that second dose quicker. That's okay. 30 seconds, a minute. Fentanyl's on the streets. Carfentanil is on the streets. Now there's cyclorphine is a new synthetic opioid on the streets. It is far stronger than what heroin was or what most pain medication is. And it can often take far more doses to reverse an overdose than just one. I know we've had people in the parking lot at Kimmie's that have taken upwards of 7 and 8 Narcan sprays to reverse an overdose. And I've heard through news articles and elsewhere 13, 14, and more. So as long as that person's laying there unresponsive, you can continue to administer as much Narcan as you have until emergency personnel gets here. The other fantastic thing about Narcan is that if it's anything else, like let's say this person wasn't overdosing at all and they were having a heart attack or diabetic shock or whatever that is, Narcan's harmless. It can't hurt anybody for anything else. All it does is reverse an opioid overdose. So you can administer this safely. I've actually spoken to people who have administered it to their pets and to children who get into fentanyl and accidentally ingest it. It is harmless. All it does is reverse an opioid overdose. Did I miss anything?
Can you get in trouble with the cops if you Narcan somebody on the side of the road?
Brittany asked, can you get in trouble with the police for Narcanning somebody? No, there is something called a Good Samaritan law that's in place in the state of Florida. It protects you from any civil liability. You can't be taken to court or anything for administering Narcan to a person. So yes, good question, Brittany.
Thanks.
Anything else you can think of?
Not that I can think of. Oh, Heidi has a question.
Yes, Heidi.
What about storage or aspiration?
Oh.
That's a great, so we live in Florida. It's hot, everybody here knows that.
Yes.
A lot of questions about storing it in a car. So on the box, it's gonna tell you to keep it stored somewhere under 102 degrees, like room temperature is what it's gonna ask. Obviously, if it's sitting in your car, like it's sitting in my car, it's gonna be well above that all the time. That's not the ideal situation. People have administered Narcan when it's been sitting in cars for months and years, and it's still effective.
It still works.
It still works. If all you have is Narcan that's been boiling for a long time in your car, or it's Narcan that's even expired, it has worked for people, and it has reduced overdoses. If that's all you have, please use it. It's better than nothing at all, for sure.
I've used it in the trunk of my car, in the middle of summer, in the trunk of my car, there for a long time. I can't even tell you how long it was there. Someone was overdosing. I immediately went and got it out of the trunk of my car, administered it. Took about 3 of them, but it did save your life. So please don't think that just because it's so hot outside that it's not going to work. It will still work, even though it's been sitting in the car and it's hot. So.
That is how you use and administer Narcan. I don't know if I'm supposed to do this, but does anybody have any questions?
Yeah, let's ask questions. Yeah.
Does anybody have any questions about how it's administered, how to secure it, where to find it, anything like that?
Where can you find it?
You can find it at Kimmie's Recovery Zone, and it's completely free. So we're open 9 to 4 Monday through Friday at our center. There's also a distribution box just outside of our front door that's available 24/7. If we're closed, it doesn't matter. Stop by our center. It's available out there. We also have a distribution box at 3444 Merino Town Lane in North Fort Myers. That's an organization called Drug Induced Homicide that we partnered with. Our distribution box is there. We also have another distribution box at Suncoast Estates Community Center. If you need Narcan, they have it as well. And if you ever don't know where to find it, or even maybe can't get to us, give us a call. A lot of times we can get it to you. As much as you need, no questions asked. That's what we do. We want to help.
For sure.
Anything else? Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
I hope you guys watch.
One other thing, somebody will say, well, I don't want to carry this around with me. I can't tell you how many stories I've heard of different stores, different big stores, small stores, at bus stops. Heidi was driving by the bus stop the other day that we watched faithfully up there on 41, and I was on the phone with her, and she said, oh, I got to, get off the phone or whatever you did, Heidi. But at any rate, she got off the phone, and there was a person overdosing at the bus stop, and Heidi had Narcan with her. So take the Narcan, please, keep it with you, just in case. You never know. People are, I guess we're close to this, so close that we know it happens where you don't think it's going to happen. And it could be in your own home, and it could be somebody that you love. So if you want to hide it and put it away somewhere, if somebody's using, they're using, put it away somewhere. Back in the day, I think Kimmie, maybe 6 or 7 times she overdosed in my house, and I had to do CPR. So thank God, we do have Narcan, so please don't be afraid to take it. And we did have test strips. I don't know if we have them tonight. Yeah, we have test strips too, so if you know anybody that's using, take some of the test strips so that they will know that fentanyl's in there and not to use it. And then I just want to encourage you to leave here with kindness and compassion in your heart and the love for everybody that we're all capable of. We're human beings. We can love each other no matter what the problems are. We can push that aside, and just love them, treat them right, do the best you can. Try to understand it. It's very, very difficult. Believe me, I didn't understand it most of the time, but I do understand it now that I experienced with my daughter, and since then, I've learned a lot, and I know that recovery is possible. So don't think because somebody's used for 10 years, or 15 years, or 20 years, that it's impossible to get them back to their normal. You can get them back. You got to work on them, you got to be patient, and you got to keep loving them no matter what's going on. And that's hard to do, I understand. You might have to put those restrictions, and we know that. Again, I did that. Thank God with Kimmie the last 2 years. You can't be here no more, you got to go somewhere. And she did. She was there 2 years. So you got to put your foot down too, so you got to put a little zest behind it, I'd say, So, take care of yourself, take care of your family.
So, thank you, Al. Thank you for all that you do and the courage that you show everyone when you have to wake up and face all that we have to do to help change lives for others. I'd like to thank Brittany for pulling all of this together. I'd like to thank all of our staff for all the work that they've invested into this. I'd like to thank everybody, Mark and John, and Sue, involved in bringing the podcast station on the road here for us. And I want to thank the families that came out tonight and the parents that have lost their child. I cannot relate to that. I have not lost a child or a sibling or a parent, but I am a person in long-term recovery, and I watch the suffering that I had caused, right? So I have a purpose in life to try to help others, right? And what we're doing here tonight is, this is fentanyl, National Fentanyl Prevention and Awareness Day. So this is every year on August 21st, and it's to raise awareness about fentanyl, because like Al talked about it being poison. So our loved ones have been being poisoned. So it's a grassroots effort, along with families, to come out and speak, to raise awareness about fentanyl poisoning. And I'd like to say that because of all the work that we're doing, and Kimmie's Recovery Zone, for instance, opened in 2019, and the state of Florida has provided free Narcan to us for all of these years, and we have flooded the community with Narcan. And we've given out over 100,000 doses of Narcan throughout the community. So nationwide, Narcan is being distributed. We're raising awareness about this issue. We're speaking about it, the courage of the families to come out and talk about it, right? And to raise that awareness. So the statistics that came out for last year in 2025, the deaths from fentanyl have decreased nationwide by 14%, but here in the state of Florida, it's decreased by 46%. So that's the lowest since 2019. But one is too many, right? One loss is too many. So we have to keep this mission going. And Kimmie, the loss of Kimmie has driven this mission. Her legacy lives here in recovery. So Al, I want to thank you for all you've done. And let's keep this going, because we don't want to lose anymore. Thank you.
Behind every good man are good ladies. And Heidi, thank you for the goodness that you brought to the table for Kimmie's Recovery Zone. We've walked the past few years, kind of not knowing where we're going, because it's all new. But you can be assured what Kimmie Zone has done, it has learned a lot over the past few years, a whole bunch. I thought I kind of knew a whole bunch about this stuff, so to speak. I didn't. Although I was a user for many years, I didn't realize what was behind the whole thing until you get into recovery and on the other side and you watch people and you understand the disease a little bit better. And that is the biggest problem in this world. They don't understand it's a disease. And I keep saying that tonight because you've got to drive it home that this is a disease treated like any other disease. Like I said, if you had some other disease, people will be at your bedside crying. If you have our disease, they want to lock you up and throw you away. They want to get rid of you, but you got to embrace, get the information. There's plenty of it out there. You can come to us, we can talk to you. We got different organizations that will explain it to you. I think a lot of it is misunderstanding, because like I say, we're human beings. We just by nature, we are attracted to each other and love each other. and somewhere along the line, addiction steps in, it changes that whole dynamics, and we don't want that to happen. Each and every person that left this earth because of addiction was not necessary. If we would have got off our asses many years, but many years ago, it might not be here. But we don't take it serious because why? Because they're addicted. So they don't take it real serious. Now, we're raising the roof. People are taking it serious. All our community partners are working very hard to save lives. So God bless each and every one of them. God bless everybody in this room. And God bless the people that work at Kimmie's Recovery Zone and the people that out there are suffering. My prayers and my hearts with you.
This time we want to thank Al and the people at Kimmie's Recovery Zone. Give them another round of applause. So if you liked what you saw here today, you can carry a message of hope where nobody else can. If you're anything like me, then we just keep on moving on and putting one foot forward. And don't watch my mouth, watch my feet. If you want to see this episode or share it with family members, you'll be able to go to YouTube, Rated R for Recovery. You'll be able to download it or share it, whatever those high-tech words are. And we also, it would be remiss if you didn't recognize this building. This is a house of worship. And if you don't have a house of worship, get to know Grace Church. Thank you, Pastor Kip Martin in the back. Thank you to Grace Church and all you do. I think that's about it. Have a blessed night. Trust God, clean house, help others. Good night.